What do you get when you mix a dead dog, a glittery outfit, and a Norwegian pop princess? You get Ireland's Eurovision 2025 entry. Do we like her like a party? Let's review Eurovision. Yeah, so Ireland is quite inexplicably sending an entry about a dead dog. You probably know this if you listen to the song already, but Laika was the first animal in space. She was a dog that was punted up into the stratosphere by the Soviets in the 50s, died within a few hours because she, well, was the first thing that had ever gone into space. And I mean, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. But at least she helped us learn how not to die in space? I don't really know. But in any case, Emmy is a Norwegian act who's representing Ireland this year with a song hoping that Laika didn't die. Let's have a listen to it.
She loves to fly. I hope like I never die and that she spins around us still, and that she has a party in the air and always will. I hope that she is dancing every night among the stars. I hope like is alive.
So that was a bit of Ireland's track. What do you think, Emily?
I mean, I think actually when you don't listen to the lyrics, it feels like you're in a kind of like noughties clubland type thing. It feels like it should be featuring like Bass Hunter. Like it's very kind of it feels very dated, I think is what I would probably say. And I think actually the concept with kind of Leica is slightly odd and quite weird. It's yeah, I just feel like this type of music is just it's a bit trashy. Um, and I think there are some parts where her voice doesn't quite meet the kind of need of the song. I think there are quite a few high notes, there are quite a few where you need a kind of powerful vocal there. And I don't think Emmy quite delivers that in some places. Um, I mean, like it is fun, and there's a way to kind of make it really camp with the performance. But I mean, considering like last year's Irish entry, it's a bit strange in comparison. So yeah, I'm not hugely keen, but it is quite camp and entertaining.
Yeah, it is very campy and it is quite glittery. It feels like the stereotype of what people who don't really follow Eurovision think what Eurovision is, which is not necessarily a good thing because I think the contest has gone out of its way to quash that. It's kind of reverting back by the increase in joke entries, but it's this kind of just slightly tacky staging that I think a lot of people turned off Eurovision in the first place for. That said, I mean, maybe it's because I've got a fairly dark humor. I think the lyrics are brilliant. The subject matter, I applaud the sheer creativity of thinking I'm going to wake up this morning and write a song about a dead dog and hope that it wasn't dead and that this said dead dog is having a party in space. Like that, I think is just so bonkers. I applaud the creativity because I never would have thought of it. But what's disappointing is, and where I think the song's Achilles' heel is, the lyrics are by far the best thing about this, but the vocal is, aside from the questionable notes that you've highlighted, I think because it's that quite high pitched, there's a reason why it was left behind in 2005, to be honest, and it's so high pitched and it's so out of place that you actually half the time you can't tell what she's singing. I had to wait to read the lyrics to actually be like, oh, that's what it's about. I quite like the lyrics, but because it's almost distorted because the vocal is so high pitched and because the backing music is so imposing that actually it's hiding the best thing about it, which is the quite morbid subject matter, which that's what I enjoy about it. So I think it's a little bit. It just needs a bit of rejigging and a bit of. Well, it's not even rejigging because I think you can't now rejig it when we're, a month away from Eurovision. I think it's just fundamentally a bit misconceived, frankly. But it is a gear shift. And last year, I was not a fan of the studio version of that song, but the staging, I maintain that staging is one of the best ever seen at a Eurovision Song Contest. It was extraordinary. I don't. I mean, that was a miracle work, frankly, because the song itself, I don't think deserved to come sixth. The performance did. I voted for Ireland in the end last year, and I hated the song. I voted for it because it was that exceptional. I don't see that kind of growing potential with this at all. I think it's kind of it is what it is. So Ireland is performing third in the second semi-final. It's going straight after Montenegro and straight before Latvia. So it's got two quite ballady, quite, ethereal songs on either side of them. This will pop. Do you think it stands a chance of qualifying? And what would you score it out of 10?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the running order, it's pretty well placed to stand out in that little kind of sandwich. But again, it's at the kind of front half of the running order, so it's always kind of not great placing. Um, I don't think this will get through the semis. I would bet my life on it, but I think kind of on balance that
Sorry, that's
because
quite extreme.
that's
I wasn't
yeah.
asking you to bet your life on this.
I think as I mean there's so much this year where like there's a case for a lot of them to get through. So I just it's like it's all very unless they're kind of doing pretty well in the bookies, it's really kind of up in the air as to whether they'll actually get through. So yeah, my instinct says that it won't, but this is Eurovision, anything can happen. In terms of my ranking, I'm gonna give this a 4.
Fair enough. I'm not going to be betting my life on anything, and especially not in the Eurovision Song Contest. I think this does stand a chance of getting it through. It'll go through ninth or 10th if it does, I think. And it will bomb in the final because the juries will hate this. But I think it's such an open year that one fuck up or one disappointing staging from another act that is another borderline qualifier, and this could get through. So I think it's really on the bubble and it could fall either side. And I'm going to give this a 5.5, mainly because the lyrics are so genius that I kind of I admire them more than anything else. But the production of the song itself, I think, is leaving a bit to be desired. So. That's my take. That's Emily's take. Let us know your take. The comments are open. Do hit the bell, and if you subscribe, hit the bell, and then you'll get notified every time we have new content. We're also on TikTok and Instagram and in podcast form. So you've got 87,000 different ways of following us. Why wouldn't you? Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.